So some additional costs for inflation. One is that when there's inflation, we say that, okay, prices will rise, all prices will increase. We said, no, if you doubled money supply, every price should double. Well, in reality, some prices move quicker than others. So if some prices change and then others change a little bit slower, it can create distortion in your economy. It can make something seem relatively cheap or relatively expensive. So that can create a misallocation of resources, either too much consumption or production of a good or too little consumption or production of a good. An example you could do, let's say you have a landscape business and there's inflation and every other price is getting more expensive, but you're hesitant to raise up the prices of your lawns, let's say for your landscape business. Well, then your lawns become relatively cheap, so people are going to try to consume or buy more of those services than they normally would. At the same time, because everything that you buy as the landscaper is becoming relatively expensive to you, it becomes less profitable to supply lawns. So you might even want to supply fewer lawns because you didn't raise your prices up with all the other prices. Now, eventually what will happen is the fact that everything you buy is becoming more expensive will force you to raise your prices up as well, but they don't instantly change with all the other prices in the economy. So that can create a distortion. Also, confusion and inconvenience. This happens a lot for people because sometimes they'll use old prices from the past to try to make decisions today, which can create confusion. So let's say maybe you bought a car 10 years ago, a brand new car, and you're thinking about buying one today. Well, you knew what the prices were, a good price for a brand new car 10 years ago, but because there's been a lot of inflation since then, if you're seeing a price now, you wouldn't know if it was a good one or a bad one, so you got to research again. And if there hadn't been any inflation, you would have been able to use those old prices from 10 years ago today. Also, you see this sometimes when you're talking with older people, everything's expensive to them. Why? Because they're using a price, a dollar figure, which was a yardstick of measuring from the past. So, if you're using prices from 1950 and you're trying to use those prices today, obviously that creates a lot of distortion and creates a lot of confusion. Everything's going to seem expensive today.